Ladies and gentlemen, another episode of Fight Court post UFC 321. I'm Din Thomas. I'm gonna get into all my UFC 321 takes, but more importantly, I gotta introduce my co-host, as always, Ryan Quinn. Ryan, what's happening?
Not much. We had a full weekend, a lot of stuff to discuss. Some of it significant, some of it insignificant, and
I love what you're doing here.
yeah, and yeah, let's dig into it. What do you want to talk about first? What do you want?
Well, let's get into the co-main event first, because
Yeah.
my comments seem to make headlines leading up into this fight, which was odd to me. Well, not actually odd to me, but it was very self-fulfilling actually in terms of what I was saying. So the quote that I had was,
Well, before you get into that, I love when you put your foot in your mouth. I'm like, yes. I'm like, we're gonna get some serious traction this week. Yes, Dean's in it again.
Yeah, right. And we do, right? We do.
Yeah.
And it's not really me, man. It's just, when I say stuff, I just say stuff. I just speaking off the cuff.
It's
Sometimes
never
I'm
me, folks.
brainstorming.
It's never me.
And when it gets out there, a little clip of it gets taken, and then they run with that little clip, right? So this was
Yeah.
another situation where they were running with the little clip or the little sound bite or the little headline, and the headline read, "Din Thomas says this fight is insignificant." And yes, I did say that, right? That was part of the clip. But they misquoted, and not necessarily misquoted, but they just excluded the rest of actually what I was saying. And some of the news outlets actually didn't even put the rest of it up. They just put that part up and just was like, "Yo, that's just what he said." And surprisingly, what the funny part about that was? Like, when I said stuff about Ankalaev, a lot of people came for my throat, but not a lot of people came for my throat on this one, which was actually like, uh, which was actually like some people were probably like, "Oh, maybe he's on to something." But even when they say that, it's like, "Yo, but that's not what I meant."
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, I'm not co-signing on even that little clip because that's not what I meant. Because what I meant was I was actually shining a light on us as media members for not putting more attention on the fight itself, because
Yep.
the first fight was good. It was great. It was a great first fight that they had. And I knew that this fight was going to be good. And I thought that it deserved more attention. And the fact that it wasn't getting attention was why it was insignificant. And the fact that, and this is where it gets interesting, this is where it gets extremely ironic. The fact that my quote was probably the number one like seller towards the fight leading up to it
Yeah.
proved my point.
Now, it's funny. It really there was no attention on this fight. Well, let's talk why. Usually fights like that, like you have a star-studded main event last night or yesterday afternoon, with Tom Aspinall, Ciryl Gane. They really pushed Tom Aspinall is really in the spotlight right now. You usually when you have like a mid-tier title fight, for lack of a better word, the UFC usually puts those together. But given the schedule, the way it's lighting out, it's like they either had this title fight right now to where it was overshadowed, or they were gonna have to wait till like February. Or like, like really. So I think that's why people forget that, but it should have really had a lot more attention than what it was given. I know exactly what you're saying with that. It's like we forgot it was on the card because especially because there's the John Jones shadow. So that's the other shadow. It's like Tom Aspinall, people think John Jones. No one's gonna think Tom Aspinall, Ciryl Gane, what's the co-main event? And I think that's where it got lost in the shuffle, and that's truly what happened.
And leading up to the fight, two things were to me the biggest sellers that brought attention to it. My quote saying it was insignificant, and
Yeah,
then pictures of Mackenzie Dern working out. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
uh-huh.
And to me, that was a disservice to the fight itself, or
Absolutely.
actually the build up to the fight itself. It was a disservice to that. So shame on us, right? And I know that they took my quote and they ran with it, and it's fine. I don't care. But shame on us for the disservice that we did to that division and them women.
Well, I can't speak for everyone, but I know that we will do better. I know we try. We know we try. Like we had the felon of the week for a long time where we were trying to put spotlight on up and comers. Maybe that's something we should think of again.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
We always make sure we make mention of those on the undercard who look good, deserves the spotlight. We get them on here. We put the losers on here for crying out loud. I mean, I don't know many other places that do that. And but yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Mackenzie Dern might not be coming on here anytime soon, but no, we will do better because those women fight hard and they deserve the spotlight.
Well, I mean, like I'm not going to even suggest it like I'm going to do better because then that gives the assumption that I feel
That
like
you were
we're
wrong.
doing it, that I
Yeah.
was wrong.
Mhm.
And I'm not necessarily like I'm wrong all the time. There's no, I mean, everyone is, and I'm wrong all the time. There's no doubt about that.
Mhm.
But in terms of doing right by MMA and putting a shining a light on MMA, putting a mirror to ourselves in terms of MMA and dedicating themselves to MMA, there's not many people that have dedicated their entire life to the growth and the existence and the growth of MMA like I have. So
Yeah.
like when I hear a bunch of people saying stuff to me about this, I'm like, yo, what have you done for MMA?
Yep.
You know, what have you done? What have you sacrificed for the growth of the sport, except just catch on when it got popular and then criticized those doing it.
Social media giveth, social media
Yeah.
taketh.
Catch on when it gets popular and then
Yeah.
criticize those actually on the front lines putting themselves out there. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm okay with that because I understand what this is all about. So I'm okay with that. But they people need to know that my intentions always are always, even if it sounds ugly, my intentions for the sport are always good because I've dedicated my entire life to the growth of this.
And you still do,
And
which
I still do.
we have we'll talk about that stuff later. But we did something yesterday that has to do with that. But let's talk about the co-main event a little bit, the actual
Yeah.
fight. So,
So yeah.
so you were right. I was wrong. I felt that well, there was something I didn't think of altogether. And that's Mackenzie, she won the stand up with the volume, with the movement, got taken down, I think it was 7 times. But I didn't even think of even while um, Verna had her down in the guard or had her down in half guard, activity from bottom. I totally neglected that. And that's exactly, I don't want to say that's exactly what won Mackenzie the fight, but that's what got her from not losing a takedown battle because she was very active on with elbows and she was very active on the bottom, which allowed her to win a striking round, so to speak, according to the judges on the feet. Great game plan. I think we're going to start seeing more of that. It's not like we haven't seen it before. A fight that comes to mind is when Kayla Harrison fought, crap, her name,
Larissa Pacheco.
yes, Larissa Pacheco. And yeah, it was a great fight, masterful performance. And it was close-ish, but Mackenzie won. So yeah, what do you think?
It was exactly the way I thought it would go, actually. I thought that it was going to be really competitive early. And I thought that Mackenzie would have the advantage on the feet. I think that she's just better on the feet. She's more better trained, so to say. I thought that um, I can't believe his name is skipping my mind right now. Jason Perillo. I'm sorry, Jason.
Yeah.
I thought that Jason Perillo has been an instrumental part of her success in the striking. The fights that she had without him, it was a significant difference. But I thought that she'd be better on the feet. I thought she hits harder. I thought that she was the better pure grappler. But I did think that she would lose the wrestling exchanges and end up on the bottom. And I had a feeling that she would be effective enough on her back to nullify that. And I thought that in the later rounds, as she did, she'd pull away a bit because I thought that Virna would wear herself out. But I also thought that it would be a really good fight because I know that both of these women understood what was on the other side of a win, and that was a championship. And they would both come prepared and they would both fight really hard in order to try to win that. So at no point did I think that this was going to be a dull fight or they would just try to stall out. I knew it would be a good fight.
Hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Uh, well, hats off to Mackenzie Dern.
Yeah, hats off
I,
to Mackenzie Dern. I think she's going to be a great champion actually.
yeah.
But we are gunning for her. In fact, Jillian Robertson hit me up this morning. We're gunning for her.
Ready to rock. I can't
Ready
wait.
to rock.
What a
Uh,
great fight that's going to be.
yeah. So
What a
that'll
great.
and I think that hopefully that gets a little more. If that happens, Jillian's got some work to do before she can get there. But if that happens, hopefully we can get some attention on that.
Fantastic. All right, all
So,
right.
so the main event.
Whew. Oof. Man, people are. I know there's some fighters who don't agree with me, but I think people are just being too hard on Tom.
They're being too hard on Tom.
People just don't get how much it sucks. I was actually gonna put something like a short out, but whatever. I didn't. I'll talk about it now. Have you ever been poked in the eye?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I remember the first time I got really poked in the eye. It was in training at 11 o'clock in the morning, and I went home and I was in bed the rest of the day.
Mm.
Because so many, well, first of all, your cornea gets scratched and you can't see. And then if they poke it bad enough, the inside of your actual eye socket gets scratched and it's all stinging. And because I couldn't see, I was squinting nonstop and I was getting dizzy because of the double vision and I was making my stomach sick. So I didn't want to look at anything. I just wanted to lay straight up. It's the most underestimated injury or ding you can get is being poked in the eye. And it's definitely dangerous against somebody like Ciryl Gane to continue in that aspect. And I truly believe that he couldn't see straight. I think they're being way too hard on him. Way too hard. Maybe they're being hard because actually, remember how we said I don't see a world where Ciryl Gane wins this fight? We were entering that world at that point, it looked like.
Well, I have a different opinion on that, actually. I mean,
Okay.
it was the first round, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It
Well,
was
yeah,
it,
so
it wasn't like it was the third or fourth round where he was getting beat up. A lot can happen in a fight. In fact,
Mhm.
I'm more than willing to bet that Tom was expecting to go later in the fight and he wasn't trying. Not that not that he was like laying back, but like I think he was
There's throwaway
expected to go
rounds.
later. Yeah, I think he was expected to go later in the fight, and he wasn't necessarily like, "Yo, let me get this guy out of here right now." I think he was expecting to go later in the fight. And we saw what could happen sometimes. Like when we saw Bilal Muhammad when he first fought Leon Edwards, he
Mhm.
was getting his ass whipped. Got poked in the eye, was out. And then when he rematched him, he came back and completely dominated him. Now, I'm not saying that Tom's going to come back and completely dominate Gane, but I'm just saying it's a fair assessment to say that because it wasn't going his way that early in the fight and then he got eye poked, that the fight was going to continue trending that way because we've seen what happens. Tom might have went back and be like, you know what? All right, I got his number now. Now I'm going to do whatever. Or maybe he gets his ass whipped. But because of that little sample size that we saw in that 4 minutes of the fight, we can't make this assumption that Tom was just going to get his ass whipped as the rest of the fight for the rest of the fight.
That's fair to say. Robbie Lawler uh, notoriously threw away round two. People throw away rounds, trying to see what's available. Um, I guess just given the way the story was being told, that's what the way it ended. And
Well,
I just don't think that. I think people are being too hard on Tom. It's
well,
just
and part of the reason is again, it's our fault, the media's fault, everybody else's
yeah,
fault, my fault. Well, even not my fault, but it's just like we've put this expectation on Tom that he had to do better than John Jones.
yeah.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah, that
yeah,
was, and that's part of like, so oftentimes, and this is very unfair to Tom and Cyril Gane because oftentimes what we get is what happens on the surface. This is what we get. But when we look deeper into things, like we put this unfair expectation on on Tom Aspinall that he had to do better than John Jones. And because he didn't, and then he gets eye poked, now we're criticizing him. He's not that good. John Jones would have killed him. He bitched out, blah, 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 blah. All
mhm.
because we put this unfair expectation on him that he had to do better than John Jones, or else we were wrong all along. So instead of pointing the finger at ourselves, we point at Tom and go, he wasn't that good anyway.
I saw a terrible flawed stat by ESPN MMA on Instagram today. They put that Ciryl Gane lasted 2 minutes and some odd seconds against John Jones, and he lasted 4 minutes and 35 seconds to Tom Aspinall. Like that's the be all end all. Like that's the comparison. It's like you got to be freaking kidding me. Like
And it's also unfair to Ciryl Gane
yeah.
because we're looking at Ciryl Gane as if, I mean, listen, we're talking about John Jones here. We're talking about a guy who went the distance with Ovin St. Preux. And no disrespect to Ovin St. Preux, but come on.
Hmm.
Like Ciryl Gane, again, when we look at the bigger story of when Ciryl Gane fought John Jones, Ciryl Gane laid an egg. Ciryl Gane is better than that. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Ciryl Gane went out there was intimidated by the moment. Madison Square Garden, Donald Trump out there, Tom Brady out there. He was intimidated by the moment. And the reason why a lot of people don't understand this is because a lot of people don't have personal relationships with fighters. They just see what they see. They don't have personal relationships with fighters. They've never been around fighters through camp or in the back and understood
Yep.
this dude's about to lay an egg. This dude is about to go out there and quit on us. And I'm almost, and based on what I know about Ciryl Gane's fighting skill and what I've seen against John Jones, he laid an egg. That wasn't indicative of what Ciryl Gane can do. And because he did that, we put John Jones on this pedestal and said, "Oh, he's so much better than Cyril. He beat him in 2 minutes." And then Tom Allen, he's beaten. So it's like Ciryl Gane would do better against John Jones.
Yeah,
Not only
absolutely.
Tom Aspinall would, but Ciryl Gane should have done better against John Jones.
Yep. Yeah. No, 100%. 100%. It's just it was impressive that Cyril defended a takedown. That's one thing I'll say in that front. He kept the volume up. Again, could have been a throwaway round. I think that maybe because the John Jones shadow. I haven't seen if John tweeted anything about
He
the
did.
fight.
He did for sure.
Yeah,
In
of
fact, he
course.
changed his profile picture to a duck wearing a UFC belt.
What a diva.
I mean, it's just, oh man, like it's sometimes again, man, it's just sometimes these things they play out a certain way, and then we
Yeah.
just it's end all be all, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
but we never really look deeper into why things happen. We just see what we see on the surface, and then we make these general statements based on what we see on the surface. And it's so unfair to Ciryl Gane. It's so unfair to Tom Aspinall. And John Jones can sit on the side and just laugh.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I still am not. I'm not attracted to a John Jones Tom Aspinall fight. Still, it's still that's the fight. No matter what happened, that fight does nothing for me. And if it still doesn't do anything for me, given the situation now, I don't think it's ever going to do anything for me. I don't think I ever care to see that fight. I don't even know if I really care to see John Jones and Alex Pereira. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, that seems to be the fight to make now based off of what happened over the weekend. I mean, we've almost completely written off Tom Aspinall. Not, well, just like it couldn't have been. I don't know who was I can't. Oh, I was talking to Anthony Smith, also on Anthony Smith on the Paper podcast, and
Mm.
we talked about worst case scenarios for Tom Aspinall. Worst case scenario would be um, him getting beat up for 5 rounds. Other worst case scenario would be him winning a close decision. This is probably up there with worst case
Yeah,
scenarios for him in
yeah,
terms of like losing the first round and then walking out because of an eye poke that people are just dismissing as, oh, he could have continued to fight. This is a really bad case scenario for him. So we've almost written him off to where he's no longer relevant.
yep,
And I feel so bad for him for that because to me, I still think he's really good. He's just trying to come into his own.
yep, yeah. And you could tell he's a little frustrated with it, like with the way he's why are you booing me? And then just things he said, but whatever. Just
I
hopefully
mean,
he'll get away from the noise.
think about how hard it must be for him right now.
Yeah.
This guy
Mm.
waited a year to fight John Jones. He got put on the shelf because John was like, "Nah, I'm fighting Stipe." And no one batted an eye at John Jones fighting Stipe. It was like, "Oh yeah, legends fight. Let him fight Stipe." Even
Mhm.
though that wasn't in terms of reality what we should have seen. We should have seen the John Jones Tom Aspinall fight when he fought Stipe. So he had to wait around for that. He goes off, he wins the interim belt, then he defends the interim belt, and now he fights Ciryl Gane, gets poked in the eye, and now it's just like now he's getting booed out of the arena after this guy has been like sitting on the side, being dismissed, and
Mhm.
and then we put this unfair expectation on him. Like right now, I'm telling you, man, and this is one of the reasons why when I retired, I was like, yo, I just like this game, the way you get as a fighter, the way you get just treated as a fighter from the fans and the people, it is brutal.
Yeah.
It is brutal.
What have you done for me lately?
It's like, and as soon as things don't go your way, man, do they just come down on you. When you hot, but as soon as you do one little thing wrong, you are in the mud, in the gutter for at least 4 months until you can fight again and try to do something else,
Yeah,
or until somebody else does something worse than you.
man, what an unforgiving sport. It really is. He'll recover. I don't know who he fights next. I don't know what happens next, but
Well,
he'll recover. He'll bounce
you
back.
know, Dana said that he's gonna do the rematch. Well, he
Oh,
wants.
okay.
He said Dana
Yeah, I didn't
says
listen
that
to the
the
post-fight.
rematch should happen. Like he wants to do the rematch. I think the rematch should happen. So I think that's probably what what the UFC is going to look to do next. Just a matter of timing and everything else. But with both guys, you got to expect that they want it. Like
Yeah,
If you're
absolutely.
Ciryl Gane, you're thinking, yo, I think I could beat this guy.
Yep.
Like all the noise was just noise. And Tom Aspinall's thinking, yo, he poked me in the eye. I know what he got now, and
Hmm.
I, whether he's thinking I can beat him or not, but you would assume that they would both want the rematch sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I'm down with that. I mean, I'm wondering that could be a relatively quick turnaround too. Well, it depends what the cards. Yeah. Well, no one got seriously hurt. I mean, granted, Tom's gonna have to take some time off to heal that eye, probably a few weeks, but they could turn around and do that again relatively quick. So that's cool.
That's a fight that can happen in February.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a fight that he can get his eye healed, take a little bit off to recover from the camp, get back in camp. These guys fight in February, and then that still leaves both of them open, or any heavyweight open to fight in the White House if they choose to do that. But
It's true too. This gives a nice push for the White House.
yeah,
You could put a heavyweight fight on there now. Uh, so let's talk about yesterday.
yeah,
That was a lot of fun.
it's a lot of fun, man.
Yeah. So
Uh,
Dean and myself, we through Florida State University coaching program, we did a coaches clinic at Nova Southeastern University where we talked about the benefits of sports psychology for mixed martial arts for other sports. And man, first of all, I learned a lot. That one woman we spoke to at the end with the volleyball club, that was so
yeah,
inspiring. Just
yeah,
she was this woman was I had the name of the ball. It's in Palm Beach Gardens. I
yeah.
meant to have the name of it. I wanted to plug it, but we could always do it next week. She was just feverishly taking notes all day. I remember, and then asking questions with every presentation. And then she came up to us after and complimented our presentation. And I'm thinking that she's some doctor somewhere, that she's doing some research project. She was just a mom trying to, I don't want to say just a mom, but she was a mother trying to promote her or do good for her kids, her daughter's volleyball club because their volleyball wasn't supported in the area. And she even said to us, I don't have a background in volleyball. I'm trying to learn the
You
best
didn't
I
even
can
have a
to
background in
coach.
sports.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just trying to be a good coach, learn everything I can about coaching for these kids. And she's not even like, she spent her whole Saturday there. It's not a paid position that she's running this club, and it's just awesome.
Yeah, that was pretty inspiring. Talking
Mm.
about the passion and dedication you have toward your kids, and then because she saw what volleyball did to her daughter and just saw that, and that fueled her passion to want to be a better coach. And for her to sit there and listen to all of us speak was admirable,
Yeah,
honorable, and I loved every bit of it. So I am going to reach out to her. I still got her contact information. I am going to reach out to her to see
cool.
if there's anything that I can do to help. I told her I would try to get Jillian Robertson to speak to her girls, and I will do that after Jillian's fight. So I will force Jillian to stop by Palm Beach
Cool.
Gardens and speak to these girls. Um, so, man, we're gonna keep it short today.
Yeah,
We're gonna keep it
yeah.
short today. Anything else from the coaching seminar yesterday?
No, we just learned a lot, and it was just a privilege to be there. Like we said multiple times, this sport was banned from the United States 30 years ago, and now here we are speaking to college, university coaches, cross collaborating with them on how we could help them, and it's amazing. It was really amazing to be there, and we're gonna do more. So we'll keep you in the loop on that all.
I already reached out to Eric Nixick this morning.
Yeah.
Eric Nixick, John Marquez, those are two of my
Oh,
closest
wonderful.
coaching buddies, and I've reached out to both of them about doing an MMA coaching clinic, and
Yeah.
obviously they're gonna be in. So
Yeah. I reached
we
out to somebody too. I reached Mosin.
oh yeah.
I kind of
Oh, could you imagine? Yo, this we will blow this up, man. I think
I
it's gonna
voluntold him. I said, I already put your name in.
happen. Yo, we're gonna blow it up, man. I think as we move forward, we're gonna continue to do good things.
Yeah.
And for all the haters out there, man, just just sit back and watch. You know what I'm saying? You can hate, but just watch because I've been doing this a long time, man, and I'm going to continue to do this for a long time. So just sit back and watch. Take notes.
Yeah, they're all fans
Yeah.
at the end of
At
the
the
day.
end of the day, you my fan. I get
Yeah.
it. All right, well, Ryan, we gonna like I said, we're gonna keep it short, man. We're gonna get you out of here. It's always a pleasure. We're gonna be back again next week. I'm working the fight card next week. We
All
got
right.
David Onama and Steve Garcia. That is a banger of a featherweight fight. If you're not familiar with those guys, make sure you check up on those guys. Those are two of the bangingest guys in the featherweight division. They come to fight, so it'll be a good fight. But I'll be working that card, and then Ryan, we will catch up again next week. So if you've enjoyed the show, make sure you hit like, share, and subscribe. And on that note, this court is adjourned.